Welcome back to Idiot Workers channel. I've got something to show you guys tonight. It's a brand new Smith and Wesson MP57. This thing is pretty awesome. I've got to admit, this thing is pretty awesome. So, you've heard of gas operated systems on pistols, right? Because, ATF. This is not a 5.56. This is not a rifle. This is not anything that you've seen before. This is something new that dropped this year in 2023. And like every other idiot, I had to learn it myself. I have contracts with several providers out there where I get my hands on something prior to the release date of SHOT Show. That being said, I did not get my hands on this until after SHOT Show, and it did prove a big problem. The problem with being is make holsters. So me making holsters and us making holsters, we weren't able to provide holsters for this gun. Now that being said, we can provide holsters. We can provide any holsters. We can RMR, TLR, whatever you want to put on this gun, we've got it covered. Don't worry, we have it. And here's why. I have the gun. I've had the gun for a good solid probably 4 months now. Well, three and a half really. This thing's been on back order for me. This is empty, clear, and safe. Empty, clear, and safe. 100%. We only have 2 rounds available. These 2 here. I'm going to set those right there. The magazine's empty. The gun is empty. Empty and safe. Okay. Empty and safe. Empty and safe. No flukes. Won't do it for a third time. Just, for your weird sayers in the comments. This gun is empty and safe. Now, this is a miracle of modern engineering, I have to say. You do have your RMR plating sits here. You do have your rear sight, your front sight. You do have your threaded comp in the front. You put a compensator, suppressor, however you want to go with this barrel in the front. This thing is pretty awesome. This is a 20 round. By the way, just to cap this all off, Smith & Wesson boasted off the top that this gun is the same width as an EZ, and you're absolutely right. This thing is the same width as an EZ, same length as MP5, 5-inch barrel. This is 5 1/4, 5 1/8, if I'm not mistaken. If you count the thread position, I think it's 5 1/8. This trigger, lackluster. In the four and a half, 5 pound range. Probably a little less. Probably because I'm heavy-handed. I'm over compensating. As you can see, I have massive bear paws as hands, and I have been doing big things with my hands all my life. But I do race out single action revolvers, and I do pound trigger poundages on those, and I know what those are. And I would say this is anywhere between 2.5 to 3 pound trigger. Probably, I gotta say it's probably 2 1/4, 2.5. It's not that heavy. I swear, it's not that heavy. I don't know if I can put it pinky. It's not heavy. It's really not heavy at all. It's not. It's probably a 2.5, 3 pound trigger. I really wish I had a trigger gauge. And if I did, I would put it on the gun right now, and I'd probably be looking at a 4.2. I don't know. But I do know that I'm used to light triggers. I'm used to light trigger strikes and single action revolvers. And my semi-autos, I do get into them occasionally. I do trick them out occasionally if they're worth my time. But this this is not that bad. I would say 3.2 to 4.2. Not a big, nasty, ugly trigger. It's a 5.57. Okay. We got 257 rounds. They are right here. I'm going to lay them right here next to the phone where you cannot get to them unless you see my hand come for them. So, Storm. A husky is talking. Go figure. Anyhow, ignore the Codys. Trust me, I got them covered with this. The brand new Smith and Wesson 5.7. This thing is a miracle of modern engineering. I'm going to show you why. Yes, you've heard of gas-operated piston systems. This is a gas-operated blowback pistol. This is not an AR that was shortened. This is not a A10 platform. This is not AR platform. This is no Armalite rifles were involved in the creation of this whatsoever. Although I would have to say Smith & Wesson took the idea and made it simplified. I have to tell you, I could not believe my eyes when I got this pistol open. I could not believe my eyes. Now, I've owned this for several months. We got to the point where we were molding and making, creating, and it took a while because this gun's very finicky, very, very easy to elude or say, oh, it fits and sits. No, it doesn't. This gun is microns measurements. So when you get a holster out of us, Cook's holsters or Blood Moon holsters, actually our new partners, Blood Moon holsters. Let me stop the video here right now. This video is sponsored by Blood Moon holsters. Blood Moon holsters is a subsidiary of Cook's holsters, new company, and we do the unusual and out there weapons. Cook's holsters, you'll find our website. We're available. We're open. We do, I would have to say 97% of handguns in the United States. Blood Moon does the other 3%. You never heard of 22 TCM, brand new 5.7s, Ruger and Smith & Wesson, both F&N, both series. We have both gens of the F&N 5.7. We do custom kydex, pretty much anything. I mean, you pay us to do it, we'll do it. That's for sure. I mean, we'll get it done, and we won't send it out the door unless you're happy with it. As upon request, customer's request, and I do the smithing, and this is where we're at here. I mean, there's very few things that I cannot fix myself in my setup that I have here, except for my single action revolver, and I've already had that on my channel, and I've already told you that it's not currently functioning the way it should, but that particular jig is $363, and if I can just pay $100 to get it fixed versus $366 to own the jig, you're like, yo, Aunt, you race your guns out, why don't you buy the jig? Because I can race them out without buying the jig. That's why. I mean, like I told you, it was thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds of that hammer falling before that pin failed. It wasn't actually a pin, it was a more like a transfer bar, but in a single action revolver versus a striker fire or a hammer fire. On a single action revolver, we have a horseshoe. It literally comes down notch, comes into the trigger system, and that's how that functions. But on a single action, we would go to half cock to full cock. Well, that doesn't work on a striker fire. There's no half cock. There is reset. I mean, all I did was pull this back a little bit. I don't know how. Here, if I can let the trigger out. I'm grabbing the slide. I'm holding the slide. That's all I'm doing. There's half reset, full reset. So that's your spring tension reset. Spring tension reset. Hammer reset. Now, I'm going to hold this gun. I haven't changed it. I haven't changed position. Now you'll notice that that is strictly just the crimping of the casing. That's all that is. That slide has only come back to the crimping of the casing. So we're going to do this. We're going to drop the hammer. We're going to load one in the magazine just for experimental purposes. We're not actually going to touch the trigger because yet we know better. We're not going to do that. So, say there's one load in the chamber. Bow. We shot that round. And I know. I just said we're next to the trigger. And the hammer's down. I know there's a load round in the magazine. I know how this firearm functions. I know just because. And most America doesn't know this, so we'll educate you. If you have a semi-automatic pistol with a hammer down, okay, can't do anything. This is a second action or semi-automatic single action, depending on who you would like to qualify. This is a second action or semi-automatic single action pistol, not a revolver. So, we've run around the magazine, hammer's down. I'm going to take that single action, or double action, excuse me. I'm going to load in our 1 round loaded magazine. Tap, rack. No, we tapped. We didn't rack. So that tells me that all I did was take 1 round in the magazine. 1 round. That's all it is. 1 round in the magazine. Load it into the gun. Tap it. Well, it didn't load itself. Imagine that. This is how you load it. It's now loaded. It now has a round in the chamber. The trigger is now staged forward. There is nothing in the magazine. Nothing in the magazine. The round that was in the magazine is now in the pistol. Now, all of this is pointed in a safe general direction. Okay, we have 170 yards of field, and then plus some, and then hills. There's no houses, no nothing. We're good. So here we are. There is a round in the chamber. This will fire if I pull my hand on the trigger and pull the trigger. I am not doing that. I am not going to do that. I'm not going to go anywhere near that. And the reason for that being is here we are. I'm going to show you the reset as best I can. I'll do my best. So, 1, 2. As you can see, and yes, my thumb's near the trigger. It's not pressing on the trigger. It's actually holding the slide back. As you can see, the necking, or what they call the neck down, or the bracing of the casing, which is this piece right here, where it is neck down to hold the bullet itself, is only slightly exposed. That's its second cock. So we'll go back to full in battery, ready to run, ready to ride. And coyotes, I swear to God, come this way. Let's see, we got 20 round magazines. Pests in my backyard. Trust me, I got 4 dogs. It's not fun. And this guy over here, he's got cows. So I'm waiting to hear some 30.6 going off. Anyhow, so they're not that close, baby. I'm talking to my dog. 1. That's where the gun falls. 1. I mean, there's a staging. Stage 1. Stage 2. Actually, stage 1. Stage 2. So you can see the necking is straight, just now coming out of the barrel. And the barrel does actually receive, because this is a fixed barrel position. This is a gas operated system. This is a fixed barrel. The barrel does not come off this gun. This housing is all fixed barrel systems. So, 1, 2. Well, actually, I'm going to go with on one. Excuse me. I lubed this up prior to the video, so this is my fault. I'm having a hard time with this. As you can see, it's very shiny, very clean. So, empty mag. I'm going to load one in. And we're going to do the side open. We'll do the side open. See if it has that M&P, notorious M&P drop. So, I'm going to start. Looks like it has a notorious M&P drop, because that mag is empty, and there's not a round in the chamber. It has a notorious M&P drop, which I honestly don't have a problem with. A lot of consumers, a lot of buyers would have the problem with the notorious MP drop. Excuse me, I'm finding the secondary barrel bullet. Excuse me. A lot of people have that problem. I honestly don't have that problem because if I'm shooting, say, 5 rounds, and I'm not carrying 5 rounds at any given point, obviously it's a 20-round mag. I mean, this is close to YouTube guide laws. In a pistol, this is not a cut down rifle to make a pistol. This is a handheld firearm. Okay, that's what this is. I don't have no buffer tubes, no shoulder pads, no forearm grips, no forward grips, no. This is a handheld firearm. Okay. Empty magazine. One of the 2 rounds we have out with us. Here's one. The other one's in the firearm. Currently, the firearm is currently pointing down range. Not a problem. No one's gonna come over here. We're not gonna grab this pistol and shoot it. This pistol's not gonna jump up and shoot itself. ATF, you can go suck my. That being said, I mean, this is, I have to say, this is an genius engineering of gun design today, because if I were to take this is a loaded pistol from the outside the trigger guard. We're going to keep it actually back here. I'm going to fold it. I'm going to hold it back like this, all the way down. I think we can touch the trigger guard. Half cock. That's just the casing. So that would be just this point, not this point. And as you can see, the entire casing looks like this. There's the bullet projectile that actually fires downrange. Here's the casing. It starts right here, necked, and then goes to a wider casing, and then to the primer. So half cocked. That's where the gun naturally goes. I cannot explain it. Has a spring set limit for that. So half cock, which would you call or consider a press check. This is what I consider a press check. Oh yeah, there's a round there. All right, ready to fire. If I was trying to disable this firearm in such a way without the safety, which by the way, it's ambidextrous safeties. So right-handed, left-handed, doesn't matter. Every safety, single side ejection mag side. Right side. So unlike most of the United States, my right hand is my dominant. Not saying you can't switch this over. I don't know personally myself. I'm not even looking into it because I shoot my pistols with my right hand. But anyhow, single, double. Single, double. It stops. It stops the same single. It stops right there. And that is exactly this point of the casing. That you see. You don't see this. You see only this. So, yeah, no, this 5.7 is legit. We're going to eject that round out and that round out. We'll go over here. So 1, I'll lay that down. 2, if you don't believe me, here's both of them. They're here. Gun is empty. And safe. Empty and safe. Okay, and we're gonna drop the sight, and we're not gonna do the General Joe blow where we're gonna wear this slide relief lever out. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna pull back on the slide, let down the lever, then go forward, pull the trigger. We're gonna do it again while holding. And by the way, I do that even though I know the magazine's right here. I still put my thumb on the slide relief lever right here. I still put my thumb right here on the side of the lever. I don't know why. It's just a habit. I mean, I work with a lot of guns, and I work with a lot of customized guns, and those guns actually are very finicky when it comes to that. Whether it's a magnet or not, those things are ready to run. But so empty mag, side locks back. It's pretty awesome. But here's where we're getting to this. So this is a non-mag regulation firearm, so which means you do not have to have a magazine in the gun for it to fire. That being said, this thing is pretty legit in how it disassembles. So we're going to take our 2 rounds. We're going to put them in my back left pocket right here. Or front left pocket, excuse me. Front left pocket. Eliminate them off the table. Nothing. No rounds. Nothing else around us. There's no other rounds on the table right now. I have tailgate lights, GLB speaker, fire starter, weed eater, string, pair of pliers, an empty CO2 cartridge, and microfiber towels. Then my handy dandy cancer sticks over on the left. And some other things. That being said, I'm going to accidentally drop you. Yeah, that's good. Sorry about the accident. Nothing has changed. The 2 rounds are still in my pocket. Put it back in my pocket. There's no other 5.57 rounds on the table or even out this door. Okay, let me tell you. My 5.57s are 25, 30 feet from me in my closet right now. There's a box. Worth it. There's a lighter in it too. I don't use it. I'm cheap. That being said, this gun's operating system is super unique, super awesome, super out there, and worth every dollar you'd spend on it so far. I've only 100 rounds. I mean, Emma's expensive. So, that being said, let me drop this down to a field strip, and I'll show you where we're going at. Empty magazine. Empty and safe firearm. Nothing in the chamber. So, we're going to take this down. That's how it goes. I'm going to drop the side at the frying pan. You say, oh, well, yeah. Then all I have to do is lower this lever. No, that's not how MP disassembles. So, you look right here. Inside this lever right here, you'll see a little bitty ring. A little bitty ring, that's what you'd press on. As you line up these 2 slide notches, which is the half moon right here, with the slide relief. So this half moon and the slide relief line up together. It doesn't take much. You can do it with the backhand, you can do it with forehand. This is not 1911, so you can do it with forehand. And I'm going to do it mine with the forehand. And I'm going to take my handy dandy punch right here. And I'm going to line these 2 up. So, drop my punch. Get rid of my cancer. So these, I mean, it doesn't take much. I mean, that slide notch relief is right there. It is right in front of the lever. I mean, barely back. Barely back. We're going to take a punch. I'm going to try to do it this way so you guys can see what's going on here. I'm going to put my punch on my release pin. I'm going to pull back. That's all let's do it. Pull it out. Let go. Now, most people think this is a Glock. It needs to drop the frying pin. It's not a Glock. It's MP, so we don't do that. We push forward. And I'm going to drop. I'm not actually going to drop. I'm going to rack, pull forward. I seem to have better results. I don't know why, but I seem to have better results. So, lower. Nice and clean, nice and shiny now. It wasn't an hour and 20 minutes ago, but it is now. We're going to take our recoil spring out. It's nothing to it. I mean, there's not a lot of recoil sitting in there. It's like a bing across the yard. Now, here's where we're at. This is the gas operating system. So this comes with a thread suppressor or thread ready on the front. Unthread that. Get rid of that. Take it off. We're going to slide our barrel forward, tilt it, and let it come back. As you can see, locked. Press it up, or you can press it from here, but I press it with this finger, my middle finger, press it up, then forward. I prefer with the barrel facing to my left. Pull it back while holding it up. Now, it's an empty slide. All you guys are tractor and firing pin mounted in this slide. That's all you have. It is empty, ready to fire, ready to go. The hammer hitting the back of this is what makes it go boom. I'm gonna set that aside. This gun is now no longer able to go boom. Now we're left with this. It's not what you think it is. This is a sleeve of the gas piston system. You turn your gun sideways, and if you look down here in a groove, turn your barrel, turn your barrel. And you have 2 notches on the top. Maybe I will throw the ball. Now, how about now? The ball thrown. Dog, excuse me. I'm sorry. If you look down the top of the barrel, here you get 2 tiers, 2 locking lugs, and 1 on a hinge pin system, which sits right here. Okay. So all you do is turn the barrel. If you're holding it to your left, towards yourself. If you're holding it to the right, away from yourself, and you start to pull the barrel out. There it comes. All this is a gas pressure sleeve. That's all this is. It is gas pressure sleeve. Can I have the ball? Can I have the ball, son? No? She's playing with it. Oh, no, I got the ball. Ball's gone. Anyhow, this is a gas pressure sleeve that hinges into your locking lug here with your threads in the front. So, on that. This is your barrel. This is your barrel for 5.7. That's it. That's all to it. Dual on top, which is the dual pull system. Put it this way. Dual, single, dual, single, dual, single. I mean, I'll just describe it. This thing is a great barrel. Great gun. And we're just gonna pull. Give me 1 second. Let me go get this ball out of the pole for her. Hey. Nothing. It's out of the pool too. I absolutely did. Hey, get your ass out of that pool. You have to forgive my dog. I'm sorry. I had to go get him out of the pool. Really, fire start? You really start with me? That's not how you start. Anyhow, back in the video. I don't do editing, so this is all natural. All natural, as you like to say in France. You get what you get. Sorry, but it's a 31-minute video now, so probably gonna end up being a 40-minute video, if not closer to 45. Anyhow, so this is the top, and the projectile would load in here, then fire, and the bullet would travel down the barrel and out the end of the barrel here. See these secondary flanges? If you turn them upside down, you'll see this little bitty port system right here. So inside the sleeve, it would sit such as this: double on top, single on, double on top, single on bottom. So the port system is on top, not the bottom. So as the double sits on top, the single sits on bottom. The projectile is fired out of the chambering in the housing here. This is where the primer hits the hammer hits the back of the primer. Primer ignites the gunpowder. Gunpowder sends the barrel and extra gases down the bullet, not the barrel. Ignites the bullet, and the extra gases, and the bullet travels down the barrel. Extra gases come out right here on the top, and the supporting recycles the gun. Now I can get into the scientifics of this. I can get very personal. I'm not that in depth with you guys. Let me tell you something. This is a gas-operated piston system, or a gas-operated direct blowback is what I would call it. Gas-operated direct blowback. Okay, as you can see, the dual will not fall into the lower part of the gun whatsoever. Now, you take the single. It obviously, excuse me, I'm holding it to the right. Your side. Single falls in there. Like, oh, double falling. No, here's the double. Double your side. Comes down. Barrel recesses. Absolutely, it does. But the second, no, it does not fall in these two grooves. It will not fall in these. Obviously, they're way too big. So, the single is what goes in there. Don't get this upside down. You can't possibly get upside down. It's dummy proof. So, you take your slide, bring it back to yourself. And I'm going to point it in the right direction. Put my barrel in my barrel housing. Excuse me 1 second. I'm going to line these up correctly. I'm going to put my single on the correct side of the gun. Send my barrel home, which puts it a little off to center because it's a rotating barrel system. Lock my barrel. I can do this stage next if I really wanted to. I'm gonna throw this back on and make this thing look pretty. Now I did this just to hold my barrel where it's gonna be on my slide. Then I take my recoil spring. There's no direct option for this. There's no specific line other than the small to front, wide to back. Drop it down in there. Boom, put it on my housing. Make sure this is all the way back. Make sure that's all seated. Take it to my slide, my lower. My lower hasn't been depressed. Line up my lines. Now, I personally found if you take a little bit of pressure off the trigger, this spring tension right here, it just slides home a lot easier. Now, that being said, it's in full position, no extra overhang of a battery, so I'm going to start to press this pin like this, pull back on it till the housing lines up, turn it sideways, and drop it inside my housing. Drop it all the way. Empty magazine, empty gun, backpack, side, pull the trigger. Now, You're like, oh, Aunt, what about those 257s? Yeah, they're pretty. They're great. They're awesome. We're not gonna load those in right now. But this thing is pretty awesome, and I'm gonna do some shooting with it probably tomorrow. The whole point of me sitting here for the last 3 hours and cleaning this and making it work and make it function. This thing is an awesome gun. Got front serrations, back serrations, depending on the type of person you are. Personally, myself, I'm a front suppression test check kind of guy. So my thumb comes over the top of my gun, boom, and then in. But the whole thing that makes this super awesome, super amazing, super out there and different is the fact that this gun operates on a gas system. As you saw, there's a port in the barrel, so I were to have a loaded magazine. I don't. So I don't have a loaded magazine. No rounds in the gun. Point in the safe direction. I were to pull the trigger like this, the hammer would drop, ignite the primer would ignite the gunpowder would send the projectile downrange with extra gases behind it. The extra gases behind it would hit the port here, and that's what cycles my slide back and forth. And those chambers in my second round, so I take it to my reset, which is very close. So the firearm empty, pull the trigger. Cycled it, fired again. I mean, it is very close, very light. Nice reset. Trigger stays the same, and the weight's very, very comparable. I mean, from single action to double action is very, very similar. Because they're all single action. Anyway, because they're all single action in the end. I'm sorry about the yawn. My yawn knees kicked in. But you guys have a great night, and I'll see you in the next video. It might be something interesting. This is one of the new interesting things. So, you guys out for the next thing. Appreciate you guys watching our Day Order channel. We'll see you next video.